The Greeks discovered a pattern that contains itself within it infinite times, yet it's irrational, forever changing, which means when you really think about it, that what it's doing is it is avoiding a certain trajectory, and that is pi. Pi 3.14. You know what I mean? And I don't know if anyone knows how they discovered this, but you can calculate the exact dimensions of shapes with using this completely irrational concept of a number that goes closer and closer and then farther and farther away from itself and evolves in infinite ways. You know what I mean? Any irrational number is like this. But pi gives you the proportions of finite shapes. And so this links hyperbolic space with flat surfaces. And in the lens of geometry, this is a levels-based system, okay? Now, everything in the physical world is comprised of geometry. From energy that exists as waves and photons, to orbit of planets that follow rules of Euclidean geometry, to hypercubes that bridge physical reality with metaphysical reality, which would be the hyperdimensional realm that is governed by things that follow higher dimensional geometry rules. And a lot of things are pointing towards this obvious reality that coexists with the everyday world, that many people know about in psychedelic art, for example, and in fractal geometry. And my point is that in order for us to move forward as a species, every human being on Earth is going to have to acknowledge the existence of higher dimensions. And they're really not even higher dimensions. I mean, they kind of are, because they're beautiful and they're much more real seeming than everyday life. And they can't hurt you. They can only show you what you need to see. Unless you already have seen everything, then they'll just show you amazing things that you didn't even think were possible. And, it's so accessible now in the modern era to have a trip like that and see these mandalas and these hieroglyphs and stuff, but it changes you. It makes you more empathetic. You understand. You have a desire to understand other people, and you become less important to yourself as you devote your brain power to helping others and stuff. And I think everyone, I have to attribute all of my caring and all of my intellectual expansion and desire for new information to psychedelics, because I like understanding how things work, because it makes life fun, and it's like it's the morphogenetic field, some would say. And I don't really know that, because some would say it's the ether. It just depends on who you ask, because there's not enough research to prove. But what it really is just higher dimensions. But some people attribute them to guidelines that reality follows, like nature, like blueprints. Take about a tree, for example. At first, it goes in a straight line up. Okay? And that's a one-dimensional thing, two-dimensional, up, down, up, down. But then its leaves become flat, which gives it a surface area, which is three-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? And then the patterns in it. You have to study these patterns and understand how they work and compare them to different things like quantum physics. And, people like Alan Turing understood this, and people like, Terence McKenna, and people like Carl Jung, and dreams would be considered as an experience that's similar to psychedelics. It happens in a place that is non-local to the physical universe, yet is an experience that you can describe, and everyone would agree that dreams are real, at least on a level in your head. And it's like same with it. And then the people who discovered double helix DNA shape, it's like they were on LSD when they figured that out.
Okay. I don't know.